Good afternoon, Sir Thomas Miranda. We are students of ADIRECT, and we are here to interview about our creative philosophy of ad agency. Please introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Thomas Miranda. I'm currently working as a graphic artist in Stratcom, and that's it.
Which ad agency did you work for?
I worked previously in a client-side ad agency in Mersline.
Can I ask how long have you been with them?
I worked for Mersline for 6 years.
What is your position in the ad agency?
My position is multimedia specialist.
What advertisements have you worked for your company?
I usually work for different branches of Mersline like Seago, Mersline itself, and MCC. They're all shipping companies.
All right. Can I ask personally for you, what is your creative philosophy?
I guess my creative philosophy is do your materials as minimalist as possible, because less is more and more is less.
How does this translate in your work, or how do you apply this to your work?
I apply this create as most minimal graphic elements in a print ad or in any materials as minimum as possible.
What is the agency's creative philosophy?
The agency's creative philosophy, well, I'm not really sure, but my supervisor just gave us the SWOT analysis.
Also,
Then we based our outputs based on it. So probably like that. We base our outputs on the SWOT analysis.
So it's like it really relies on SWOT more than the philosophy.
Yes.
Sir Thomas, can you describe the structures of Mersline and Stratcom?
Okay, in Mersline, usually is based on SWOT analysis talaga yung output materials nyo. So meaning is, the clients would ask you why you come up with this material or this output. Then usually the graphic artist would answer, it's on nandun lahat sa SWOT analysis, like target material, the target audience, lahat ng information na nag-base dun sa output is on it. Then in Stratcom naman is usually is we're more free to experiment on the materials. Usually is think outside of the box. Yun. Think outside of the box more or less sa Stratcom, and in Mersline, because it's a corporate company. So more or less it's in within the box, as in yung parang tried and tested.
So they want the sure answer. While in the
Stratcom is
more flexible.
Yes, flexible. Creative freedom. If you think you want this the output is like this, na different. Parang sa Stratcom is we don't have any similar outputs in one project. There will always be a team of the whole project, but it doesn't mean na you'll stick in a tried and tested materials. For example, yung magkakamukha yung output. No. As much as possible,
Yes.
is we want as much as possible, Stratcom wants to have a more youthful, eccentric, and colorful materials kasi more or less our target audience are kids. Kids, yung mga undergraduates, the one who usually they just only finished or taking grade 12 or grade 11 students, or the incoming freshmen.
What makes your agency creative philosophy different from other agencies?
Well, for one, I didn't have any experience in other ad agency besides Merstein and Stratcom, so I'm not sure if I can compare a lot of companies. But from with Stratcom, we the supervisor usually gives us the materials that we can use, then as much as possible do a minimalist output of it on it, and sometimes if minimalist design is not applicable, the supervisor just gave us the freedom to how to execute it.
Can you describe what it's like having to combine your agency's creative philosophy and what your client wants?
Is it the current one or the previous one?
Both. Can you mention both?
Okay, in Merceline, once we give them the outputs, the client usually tries to ask why we did this graphics, and we usually answer them it's because it's in the SWOT analysis.
How about in the SWOT?
So in Stratcom is once we give our supervisor the materials, we usually have discussion on is it in the guidebook. Usually is it the guidebook, the logo, the colors, and most especially if we think it will catch attention of the students and other audiences outside of the campus, inside and outside of the campus.
Relating to that, so you mentioned that the challenges was there, that the guidelines. Was there any other challenges when combining what client wants and then the creative philosophy of the ad agency?
Sometimes what the client wants client gets, but there are times that the clients itself will ask us, is this one good for the target audience, especially on if your client is really not into graphics.
Okay.
They would ask us to put as many information in the, for example, in the posters as much as possible in a very tight spaces. They ask us if we can make the fonts more smaller so we can fit more information.
So it's like the challenges were mostly clients' demand, but then they're very wrong about it.
Yes.
What do you give more importance to, your agency's creative philosophy or what your client wants? So as to what you said,
it depends. I usually do the balance. I want our creative philosophy to stand out, but there are times that clients should be also followed. For example, Brother Ray. Yes.
Can I ask, how do you convince them? How do you convince them?
Usually we do three samples for our what do you call it? For our materials. One is the one we create based on our understanding based on our creative philosophy. Then the other one is based on the client's creative philosophy, and the other one is the balanced one.
How does this philosophy affect your creative strategies? Cite existing account examples.
Okay, so for Instatcom, how it affects our creative strategy is sometimes minimal, because usually the clients doesn't care or doesn't ask more questions because they know that we know what we are doing.
The client
Yes,
referred us
the
to
client
DLS,
first,
right?
yes,
Alright.
the DLS when it's in its departments.
Exactly.
In Mersline,
Yes.
you will meet a lot of different people. Usually that doesn't have any creativity or creative philosophies. So when I'm dealing with those kind of people
Yes.
or clients, they would always complain that they want more information in, for example, in posters, and they think that the audience or the target audiences would be interesting to read those information in one go. So that's a big no-no.
Sir Thomas, can you cite 2 examples existing account?
My 2 existing current accounts is the Christmas card for Brother Ray
Oh, brother.
and Dr. I think no existing card for Dr. Kibenko and THE times higher education materials. So Dr. Q is, I just received a request coming from our executive director that Dr. Q wants to have a Christmas card. So just plain text. Dr. Q wants to have a Christmas card for this year.
Okay.
So
This year.
no design peg or any information about that. So from scratch. So I tried to, as much as possible, to study Dr. Kibenko or Dr. Q. So at first she's a girl, she's a female. So the design should be as feminine as possible, and that's it, as feminine as possible. Then in times higher education, it is already an existing project. So the times education just gave us the materials from it. So I try to, as much as possible, to stick on their design peg.
Sir, can you briefly describe the Times Higher Education?
Wow. It's just a global ranking of different universities all over the world. I'm not sure if the ranking is based on the number of researches produced of a university, and I think also how famous your university is regarding on a specific department.